We want to say shout out to our sponsors, Watchman Cigars, Operation Decisive Victory, and Weberized. Without these folks, the show would not be possible. Hey, hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast, where it's our take on life, liberty, and the pursuit of gravy. And you, the listener, are invited to come up on the front porch, grab a beverage, and set a spell. We've got a great show lined up for you as always. But before we begin, let me introduce our starting lineup. To your left, my right on the radio dial, we've got Magic Man running our video and our chat.
Hey, everyone. How's it going?
And then we've got our illustrious producer, Brian.
Hey.
And of course, I be your host, Biggin, and how about you? We've got a great show again, like I said before, that we are excited to have you guys be part of. Producer Brian, how do our folks get in touch with us through the socials, all those things?
Yes, we are on all of the socials. Facebook at Southern Fried Philosophy, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch at SFP Radio. You can always email us at sfpradio@gmail.com. And please, if you want to support the show, go check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/SFP Radio. You can always check out the show on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and the TuneIn app, plus anywhere else you can find a podcast.
Absolutely. We want to direct you guys, if you're watching live on Facebook, to go over to our YouTube channel. If you're listening via podcast, please also go to YouTube and then search Southern Fried Philosophy. At that point, if you click subscribe, then and we get 100 people, then I can tell you to go to youtube.com/SFP Radio.
Right.
That'd be a whole lot easier than all the googly gunk. So, or have to search. So we would appreciate it. Please just make sure to go to YouTube. All you have to do is subscribe. You don't have to listen or anything else like that. Just subscribe. That's it. That'd be great.
You mean we won't tell them to ring the bell?
Oh, yeah. Eventually, at some point, when we get like 100 listeners, then we could go there and it'd be great.
Yeah, we can point in random places around the screen.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Hope we
Click
get it right.
Here. You're here. Click down there. That'd be great.
Link in the description.
Yeah. Hey, if you are staying at home, just like most of us are, but now we're starting to get out, and you want to create your own podcast, shoot producer Brian an email at headlines@sfpradio.com. He can get all your video editing done, all your audio, this and that. He can make really cool videos on YouTube that says, look down here, click. That'd be great. Yeah. Also, next week, we are going to have my nurse practitioner, Brittany Pettigrew, come on. You'll remember a couple episodes ago, she was the one that gave me that dreaded Dr. DRE. So,
we get a firsthand account.
Oh, wow.
Literally firsthand account.
I can't wait.
I mean, so many questions, right? But she's part of the medical community. Her story is amazing, but even just kind of peek behind the curtains of some of the stuff that's going on, and insurance and being part of a practice and nurse practitioner versus doctor. It's just fascinating. So she's going to come on. We have to, obviously take care of HIPAA. So you can't ask personal questions, on my behalf.
I think I can get one of those like almost expired COVID shots.
Oh yeah. Maybe the Chinese version.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Also, if you want to be a show sponsor, hit us up. Send us an email at sfpradio@gmail.com. Hey, we still need our listeners from North Dakota, Alaska, and Vermont. I've came up with a plan, producer Brian. We're going to get a random day. We're going to call the visitor center of each one of these states, a city in there, and we're going to call them and see if they'll listen to the show. So I think that'll be great. But we got to do it during the day because, they're closed, at light. So that might be a little bit of hindrance, but we'll figure it out. I think it'd be fun. Also say shout out to our new listener from Spain. How about that?
Hola.
Spain coming in hot.
¿Qué tal?
All right. What was that?
What's up in Spanish? Or ¿qué pasa?
What is it?
¿Qué tal or ¿qué pasa?
Look at you.
Well, is it?
Look at you.
There's two different dialects, so you make sure you don't.
Oh, there's more than two dialects.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Mexico and there's Spain. Like they don't always speak the same way. That's what I'm saying.
I think the folks in the Caribbean and South America would beg to differ.
El Paso Spanish and there's Mexico Spanish, right?
Did somebody say queso? I don't know, but I want some queso.
El Paso.
Oh, well. Where did queso come in?
Love queso.
Somebody, queso's good.
Where's the best place that has queso?
I like the stuff that has the chorizo in it, like the spicy sausage.
Good Lord. Where are you going?
Well, there's a place, it's called Queso Fundido. You can get it at almost any decent Mexican restaurant.
But like the ones that come with the chips.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it has chips too. No, you're not like dipping sausage in cheese. It's ground up in the cheese.
Okay.
Chips are included.
Can I go on record to say that Chipotle has the worst queso on record?
Yes. It's because it's grass-fed or something.
It's nasty. Also, if you just heard a voice you're unfamiliar with, that's our guest, Lee Short. He's going to be joining us throughout the show, so he'll be popping in his voice, but he is our special guest and joining us throughout the show. So anybody else have got good queso? Taco Bell's horrible.
No, well, I actually like the stuff.
Moe's has good queso.
Who has?
Moe's.
Oh, yeah. I do like Moe's.
I haven't been to Moe's in forever.
I like Moe's. I actually like the stuff you can get at some grocery stores have it. It's like you can get a little tub or like a quart of it. Huh. It's always pretty good.
I also like the Velveeta and melt the Hormel chili in it.
Oh yeah, or like what's the Velveeta Rotel dip?
Oh yeah,
it's every Super Bowl party ever.
Absolutely.
Some people use Velveeta, some use cream cheese, some use sausage, some use ground beef. Some,
Come on with it.
Pound of cheese and some chilies. That's basically it.
This entire episode is brought to you by food.
Yeah.
We're just going to talk a lot about food.
Just wait. Yeah. You're not hungry now.
All right. I'm going to ask you, gentlemen, like I ask you every week, I be darn. Magic Man. You're still horrible. Your job is driving you nuts.
I'm done.
There's that. Producer Brian. Producer Brian, how you be doing?
I'm good. I have a language question for you guys tonight.
Okay.
Not a Spanish or Spanish one either.
Or a queso one.
So how would you describe this Saturday if you were saying this, like the 3 days from now, you're in conversation talking about Saturday, would you say this Saturday or would you say next Saturday?
So
this
3
Saturday.
days from now is this
3 days
Saturday.
from now
is this Saturday. Next Saturday is
Saturday.
Yeah.
If the day were Monday, like it is for all the people in the time lapse listening to this show, and you're still describing Saturday, 5 or 6 days away, is it this Saturday or next Saturday?
Yep.
Still this Saturday.
This Saturday. Because once you pass one Saturday, the following Saturday then becomes this Saturday.
Thank you.
And then the one after that is next Saturday.
Thank you.
It sounds like an argument with the wife.
Yes, it is. Exactly. And now I have backing on my point of view. So
absolutely. She thinks it's next Saturday.
She wants to. Well, she's using because technically it is still the very next Saturday. But who talks like that, right? Everyone knows this and next are not the same, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
I'm gonna have to vote against the teacher. I mean,
yeah, right.
Sorry, teacher.
And my daughter's thinking the same way. That's what her brain just works like.
Yeah, because she's smart.
Say something's happening next. She thinks it's 3 days from now. It's really like 10 days from now.
Yeah, that can mess you up.
Right.
Lee, how are you doing, buddy?
Well, I had a wreck.
So there's man.
That.
So I totaled my car that I've had for a year, and you hit a guardrail going 70 miles an hour, it wakes you up a little bit. So
I'm sure it does.
Did you get the gap insurance?
Do what?
Did you get the gap insurance?
No. I know. So, but the kids are safe. It was me and the kids. The kids walked out with not a bruise, not a scratch.
That's
I
great.
messed up a tendon in my finger, and I got a nice bruise right there.
Oh,
on
hey,
my-
buddy.
Man.
Is that
And
the
so, but no,
left arm?
everybody's safe. So cars are replaceable. So we're doing good.
Wow.
Wait, that is a good point, producer Brian. Is that your left arm or right arm? It's bruised.
I can't tell.
Is that left or right?
That's my left arm.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. Awesome.
All right.
It's like,
It was the airbag.
yeah,
So
it was just like the
the
side, the side airbag.
the side airbags
Yeah.
popped out, and
It's amazing.
I've never had airbags go off on me. I don't. That's now that I think about it, I've been in several wrecks.
I didn't have-
pleasure.
I've always been scared of the airbag coming out of the steering wheel and like punching you in the face.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen. So I mean, it popped out, but it didn't hit me in my face or anything.
Yeah.
But I kind of got sandwiched between the side airbag and the steering wheel airbag, so it messed up my shoulder, my arm. So,
kept you in the windshield, I guess.
but yeah, I didn't. I was wearing my seatbelt, so
That boy.
I
had a
got a
buddy
seatbelt
in,
bruise
high
across my
school.
chest. So
I had a buddy in high school who had a front airbag hit him, and he looked like he just like taking his face and rubbed it across the concrete. It was like,
Oh man.
it's like you had a skint knee. It was a skint face from the airbag, basically.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I don't think I like that anymore.
Hey,
yeah,
have y'all
Just take him out. No worry about it.
have y'all seen that video where that truck gets stuck on that sign pole or that signpost, and then when he backs off of it, he drops to the ground, and then the side curtain airbag on the driver's
Oh,
side
yeah.
door goes
Yeah,
off and knocks his hat off into the parking lot.
That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Do you remember the old SNL skit? I guess when airbags just came out, and it would like blow up, but then it would also make popcorn for you. So,
Mhm. Jiffy Pop. Yep.
So when you're just sitting there, you can just start eating the
That's
popcorn.
great. That's great.
That was fantastic.
Oh.
You asked me how I've been doing. No, I'm still having ups and downs of the sickness. But they're small little victories. Like, I don't know, like I took a shower without like being winded. So, maybe getting a little bit of strength back. So that's good. So we'll see how it all turns out. Good gracious. This thing. So let me give you guys the Southern word of the week. You guys probably know, but those that are from our northern north of the Mason-Dixon line may not understand. The word of the week is high cotton. High cotton. Have you guys heard that one before?
Yeah, Central Cabarrus Brewery has or Cabarrus Brewery Company, whatever, has the high cotton beer.
Oh, do
More
they?
expensive than the rest of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the phrase in the South is living in high cotton. Usually that means enjoying a good deal of wealth. So, for your Yankees, if you, put some money in GameStop and you got some money, you're living in high cotton. So how about you? All right. So there was a bit that we have done before called the Mountain Eagle. This is a newspaper in Kentucky in Appalachia. Have you heard of the Mountain Eagle before, Lee?
I have. Yes.
Yeah. And they have a phone line where you can call in, and it's called Speak Your Piece, PIECE. And what they do is they just let you rip. They don't edit it. They just let you kind of speak your piece, and then they print it in their local newspaper. For $20, you can get a year subscription to the Mountain Eagle, which I would definitely encourage you to do so. But here are a few of my favorites from the past week. All right. I am certain school officials thinks he hit the jackpot with the married woman he's seeing. But this isn't her first rodeo, and it probably won't be her last. So don't get too comfortable. I know you've been a very decent man, but you've stepped over the line. You're making fools of yourself. Ooh, that was juicy.
Yeah.
Get some sound effects for that.
It won't be her
It's like
first
bacon
rodeo, and it
sizzling or
probably
something.
won't be the last. Man, I mean, how great is this, right? They just call in, and then the newspaper prints it. Love it. Everyone deserves a second chance. I thought during my lifetime, but I guess I didn't get a second chance. Just remember that you will always hold a special place in my heart, Donna. There you go. People always talk about how the right hand of Fork Dottie Creek is bad for drug dealing, but everybody knows that the left hand fork has drug dealers too, but the police are afraid of them.
Wow.
Like the right hands, I could see like as like old Miss frat guys, and then the other side is like, you know, downtown folks, like, you know, the 80s roughnecks. On the left hand side, good gracious. Amazing fact, all of the COVID-19 virus that exists on the earth could fit into a single cola can. The virus is that small. We don't know if it's true. Facts are optional. I mean, but I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. What's your data source on that?
Again, this is speak your piece, man. Facts are optional. To a certain grouch, you think you could go around giving me dirty looks, but guess what? When you die, you think you'll be able to walk up to God with a big smile on your face and shake his hand. But it might not be the other way around, but it might be the other way around. God may have a trap door for you. and you'll get nothing but fire and brimstone for your tormenting of everybody. Think about it. You're going to pay for what you've done, and your money, you can't take it with you when you leave. Good gracious.
Wow.
I mean, they're coming in hot. And evidently there was a ruckus at the Litchfield Pizza Hut. To the person or persons who are put the people at Pizza Hut out of work. I hope karma kicks you in the butt so hard that you wish you never would have done this. So there's that.
Pizza Hut.
Don't mess with Pizza Hut.
I mean, 606, my God. It keeps going. Again, they called in. I want to know why the employees at Pizza Hut got a raise in January, then go close the doors on their faces in February. I hope those money-hungry owners are satisfied. I mean,
man, someone's bitter about the Pizza Hut.
No doubt. I mean, the whole town. And lastly, a guy I think has a little bit of a crush on the weather girl. I really enjoy Brandon Robertson telling us the weather on WYMT TV, but I don't like the blonde who was there acting like she knows everything about the weather when she doesn't. If they had any sense, they would have Chastity Gayheart back on there telling the weather. Yo, buddy. Oh, buddy. So that is your speak the piece from the week of whatever last week it was.
How many readers does this newspaper have, do you think?
I don't know.
Like, is it like the same 200 people all the time talking
No,
to each
but
other?
anybody could call it. You don't have to be a member. It's just anybody in the community calls this number.
Yeah. It's funny. I think it's funny. That's
all. Oh, yeah.
I think we should call in. Give them something really juicy.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what if I call them and be like, listen here, Litchfield, you need to listen to the Southern Fried Philosophy podcast because it is awesome and we love you so much. Oh, all right. That's on the agenda. That's on the agenda this week.
You get the editor on.
Yeah. Oh, that would be good. Yeah. They do have an editor. So, I mean, they do kind of respond back. So that one may not make it. All right. So, gentlemen, I need to tell you about the Cabarrus County Burger Madness. Dun, dun, dun.
Like Mad Cow, but local?
Kind of.
Oh.
So in Cabarrus County, they've teamed up with local restaurants and they are creating a Burger Madness competition in Cabarrus County. So if you're outside of Cabarrus County or outside of North Carolina, you can just play along, just for fun. But what they're going to do is all these restaurants will have these burgers. People can vote online to which one is the best. And so I'm going to give you a description of each one of these burgers.
Oh, all right. Hey, This reminds me, was it last year that we did the burger draft?
We did the burger topping draft.
Right before it happened. We never got to try the burgers.
Hey, that's when I first started joining you guys on this because I remember
Oh,
Something
do we
about
remember?
scrambled eggs on burgers. Remember
Yeah,
that?
everyone
God
remembers
bless
his
a
burger.
bear.
Yeah, go back and listen. I need to look at
That was
episode.
the worst burger.
So says you.
Have you ever had scrambled eggs on a burger?
Hmm?
Anybody?
It's no different than having a regular egg.
Oh, it's different.
Oh, much different.
Much different.
I'll do a
Lee?
fried egg on a burger.
Absolutely. But scrambled?
No, because you got the point is getting that yolk to bust
Yeah.
and getting the flavor of the yolk on the burger.
Yep.
Scrambled eggs ruin that.
And you get the crispiness of those edges
Mhm.
of the egg whites. I can
Yeah.
deal with fried egg. But... All right, so here we go. Two Gals Kitchen. And they have the Jazzed Burger, a lean burger patty topped with a fried egg. There we go. Candied bacon.
Oh, this is can. Oh, I thought it said something else. Yeah.
Yeah, no, candied bacon, grilled asparagus, smoked Gouda, and sweet onion spread served on an get this, an
Oh.
everything bagel.
Okay. They lose me with the lean burger.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, that's a good
That's really
choice.
the first
Lee was
thing they
shaking his
said was
head.
lean burger, and that's where you lost me.
Yeah, okay.
Put whatever else you want on there, but make it it needs like an 80-20, like a fatty burger, please.
Okay. All right. Good call. Good call. I don't like the grilled asparagus. That's going to throw me. And on a bagel, not a fan of that either.
I love everything bagels.
But and I do too. But I don't want my
Anything.
burger on it.
I'll eat anything on an everything bagel.
Burger,
Especially scrambled eggs on everything bagel. You ever try that?
you can't try to make a burger healthy. Like
No,
I feel like
yeah.
I feel like that's what they were doing. Lean meat, asparagus,
Well,
like
candied bacon though,
And a
kinda
fried egg.
sugar.
yeah. So they don't. They're confused. that's their problem. They're confused.
I'll give you that. All right, we've got a lot, so let's roll.
All right.
73 in Maine is the local one. It's a patty made from local beef and bacon ground together, which I like. All right, and topped with aged cheddar cheese, crispy buttermilk fried bacon, house-made mayo, baby bib lettuce, fresh tomato, and onion, served on a brioche bun.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'll
Hold
take
on.
that one.
All right. Here's Cabarrus Brewing Company. Getting figgy with it. A half-pound certified Angus beef patty topped with a semi-soft French brie, crisp romaine lettuce, Roma tomato, and house-made fig jam, served on a toasted brioche bun.
Needs bacon.
I hate the lettuce tomato combo. Hate it.
Yeah, take off the lettuce tomato, put a piece of bacon on it. No.
There you go. Chop House. The Cowboy Barbecue Burger. A juicy beef burger topped with a slice of American cheese, smoked sea salt, ground black pepper, pulled pork, barbecue sauce, and coleslaw.
Why is salt and ground black pepper an ingredient?
That's weird, right?
Those are condiments.
I mean, smoked sea salt. I guess that adds something, but
Maybe. Yeah.
okay. That's whatever. That's good.
All right, Havana, Carolina is the Cuban Frita Burger, seasoned ground beef and chorizo patty, grilled with onions and topped with tomatoes, lettuce, and shoestring potatoes, served in a pressed Cuban hamburger bread. I might get behind that.
Okay.
I would try it.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
says Cuban on it. I want to try it. So
Yep. This is the hot box. This is called the Southern Charm. 1/3 pound brisket blend patty topped with pimento cheese spread, pickles, house fried green tomatoes, served on a Duke's multi-grain bun.
I mean, pimento cheeseburger. What else can do? That's,
Yeah. I feel like you could have gone a little bit more with that.
Again, bacon is missing from half of these burgers.
Right. Here's Jackie Boy's Grill Top, jalapeno jack burger. Jackie Boy's signature 8-ounce prime ground beef burger with roasted jalapeno queso and crispy onion. Sorry,
All right.
roasted jalapeno and queso and crispy onion.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I like the sound of that.
Magic Man, which one is your favorite so far? None, because they don't have scrambled eggs.
No. Oh man, a lot of them sounded real good. That's hard. It's a hard decision.
All right,
To be honest
all right.
with you, really good. The one that was before CBC.
Oh wow. Okay, so we're going for the 73 in Maine one. All right.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
was like a bacon. I think it was a bacon cheeseburger.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. We're finished wrapping this thing. Well, no, we're not. We got a lot to go. The Johnny Roger barbecue burger. This is the candied goat burger. GOAT, not an actual goat. Hand patted all beef burger topped with house candied bacon. Got me. Buttermilk fried onion frizzles. Creamy goat cheese. Smokehouse aioli. Lettuce and tomato. Served on a local baked classic burger bun.
All right. Goat cheese.
Yeah.
is good.
If you could have gone with a brioche, I would have been much happier with that. But I got you. All right. Parkway House. It's the big bad mad burger, double burger with American and provolone cheese, topped with bacon, grilled jalapenos, onion, lettuce, tomato, a special mad sauce served on the brioche.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
I like jalapenos. That's
Yeah, I'm not a jalapeno guy.
I'm not a jalapeno guy either.
Punchy's Diner, the home run burger, 2 4-ounce all beef patties topped with house made chipotle pimento cheese. Hold on now. Hold on to your seats. 6 slices of bacon served on a, grilled glazed donut freshly made at the Donut House in Kannapolis.
Yes.
Hands down.
okay.
That's good, but okay. So my wife and I, the couple of experiences we've had with Bunchie, I can't talk. Punchies.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like we were eating warmed up TV tray dinners. So
I'll give you that.
I
I'll
hope
give you that.
I hope this one is actually homemade and not
Yeah,
stuck in a microwave and heated up.
that's true. But you had me at the 6 slices of bacon. Worst case scenario, you can just eat more bacon.
House
Yeah,
made
there you go.
chipotle pimento cheese sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that's
Give
true.
me that and just bacon to dip it in.
I'm down with that. The Smoke Pit pimento cheeseburger, 2 4-ounce patties made of ground brisket, short rib, and chuck, topped with house-made pimento cheese, bread, butter, pickles, mayonnaise, and onions.
They had to mess it up.
I'm all over that one.
They had to mess it up.
With the bread and butter.
Bread and butter, man.
Oh, I love the bread and
I
butter
cannot
pickles.
abide the bread.
I
and
can
butter
eat a
pickles.
jar. I can sit and eat a jar by itself.
I
Yeah, I
have
think-
one time.
Me and Big enough had that conversation, but it's, I can't.
Yes.
I can't do the sweet pickle.
Mm.
Not that kind of, not a cucumber pickle.
What
It's like
about
a
this though?
Vietnamese pickle might be different or something. But,
What about the ground brisket, short rib, and chuck?
It's amazing.
take this patty and put it on that first burger, and now we're in business.
Oh, hey, buddy. All right. All right. Last burger is the Vortex Bottle Shop. It's called the New Tradition, an 8-ounce house-made ground chuck blend, topped with, again, the beloved pimento cheese, brown sugar and black pepper bacon, fried pickle, green tomatoes, and chive aioli, served on a roasted garlic milk bread from the local loaf. What's a milk bread? Anybody?
Is that what people make when it snows?
Milk bread run.
Yeah, everybody goes and gets bread and milk.
There it is.
Woohoo! Hey, you got to admit that was a good one.
That was.
There you
As
go.
Larry the Cable Guy would say, that was funny right there. I don't care who you are.
Well, there you go.
There's some
All right.
contenders there for sure.
There's
look
some
pretty
good ones. It'll be
Mhm.
interesting. We'll when the voting ends and they declare the winner, we'll let you guys know who's the winner on that one. All right. Well, speaking of winners, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to do, since my beloved Kentucky Wildcats are not going to make it into
Ugh.
March Madness. I don't care anymore about March. I don't care anymore about the NCAA bracket. So therefore, I am going to go to something I do love, which is chicken sandwiches. And so we are going to have the Elite 8 of chicken sandwiches from local, well, not local, but they're chain restaurants. So the contenders of the SFP Chicken Madness bracket are going to be as so. Chick-fil-A, Popeyes, Zaxby's, KFC, McDonald's, Arby's, Wendy's, and Bojangles. So these are the 8. What we need you guys to do is we've put a poll on Facebook, and we'll do it on Instagram and Twitters and whatnot. We need you guys to help rank 1 through 8 so we can have some good seating. So we'll get that underway next week. So Producer Brian, correct me if I'm wrong. So the idea of this is we are actually going to taste all of these sandwiches, but it's going every week.
Yeah.
Right.
So our plan, as we thought about this, was to do, we have 8 sandwiches. So we're going to do 1 match per week, essentially. So we're not sitting down in front of 8 sandwiches at one time.
Right.
Because that was going to skew everything. So, we'll figure out the seating. We're going to get the poll going. And we'll probably do the 1 versus 8 next week. And then the following week, we'll do 4-5, 3-6, and 7-2. Or we can go 1-8. So we can jump around if we need to.
Right.
But once a week. So, yeah, basically, we'll try to keep it pretty quick so we don't bore you with our chicken sandwich eating.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great.
I think it's going to be awesome, personally. And I'm kind of, this is not going in favor of my ketogenic diet, but I want to make it work the best I can.
Yeah. So I think even you said like you're going to do like a quarter of it.
Yeah.
And then just try it.
And
now
the sample, essentially, to get
just
my
the sample
flavors. And then, we'll see what happens when I get to that Bojangle sandwich. But
you're going to eat the whole thing. So initial and also some ground rules are we have to eat it exactly as it comes. So we can't add any sauces. We can't add anything else to it. The question I have, though, Producer Brian, is if it comes with lettuce, tomato, and we don't like those, are we still eating it with the lettuce, tomato?
I feel like that's part of the,
Magic Man,
I'm fine with lettuce, tomato on some sandwiches. I don't want it, like the Bojangles in Mooresville I grew up with only had lettuce on their chicken sandwich. But some franchises would do lettuce and tomato, and it would drive me insane because the sandwich I liked and grew up with didn't have the tomato on it. I'm not a tomato.
Got you.
But I think we just, take it how it comes, and that becomes part of the judging. So,
okay.
And with that said, I feel like a certain beloved chain may be at a disadvantage because of their lack of sauce on their sandwich. Unfortunately, that's a good sandwich, so maybe not.
Magic Man,
they don't
thoughts?
need the sauce.
I agree.
Oh, as far as if we should about lettuce and tomato,
right? Just we just letting her how it comes.
Yeah, I guess to be fair, we should.
All right. If you would like to help contribute, because this is going to be very expensive, because we're going to keep buying the same sandwich over and over again, just contribute to our Patreon link, and we'll buy sandwiches with it. So anyway, no March Madness for me, at least. I don't care anymore. So we're going to do this fun little project.
4, 5, 6. I tried this before. Is it 7 weeks of what I'm calling chicken madness? Is that the right math here?
I don't need, because we had this argument.
Yes, it's
before.
7.
Okay.
7? Okay. I counted it wrong. I came up with like 26, and that was wrong. So, the first time.
So 7, and then times, we're going to have 2 sandwiches each.
Yeah.
So that's going to be 14 sandwiches that we're buying for this thing.
And these are $4 $55 sandwiches. Right. So
yeah, there's a budget there. Somebody do that math. All right. Well, I'll give guys.
Maybe I'll just keep one in the fridge for the next time it comes around. Is that fair?
This lettuce is wilted. How did that happen?
Yeah.
I'll get you guys some gift cards. We'll go that route.
Chicken is rubber.
All right, let's go to some wacky news brought to you by Watchman Cigars. If you need a quality cigar at a cheap price, check out our friends at watchmancigar.com.
All right. I've been compiling news for weeks now, so we're going to
Yeah.
kind of pick a few of these. So let's kind of go along with the theme of our show here. Let's talk about pizza for a second.
Absolutely.
You guys like breakfast pizza?
Oh yeah, the
I do.
QT.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the QT breakfast.
Hey,
Yeah.
buddy.
Well, there is a restaurant in. Let me pull up the link actually. In Des Moines, who is putting Fruit Loops on a pizza.
Interesting.
It's in the sauce, so it's a Fruit Loop pizza, and the sauce is sour cream and cream cheese, topped with mozzarella, Fruit Loops, and drizzled with Greek yogurt and condensed milk. Hopefully, that's sweetened condensed milk.
What the?
The picture is not appetizing. I mean, I like Fruit Loops. Don't get me wrong.
The only thing worse than that could be Captain Crunch, just for the roof of your mouth.
Right. Well, yeah, that's like Geneva Convention would outlaw that, I think. But, yeah. So just want to throw that out there.
Oh my gosh.
Fruit Loops pizza. And for the record, how do you spell Fruit Loops? Anybody?
Ooh, this is a Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think it's just FRUIT, right?
FROOT.
It's two O's, right?
Yeah.
FROOT.
I can't remember. They're spelling it with a double O in this article. So that's
Okay.
I don't remember. I was thinking it was UI, but no, I don't remember. Maybe they changed it. They rebranded it because of the Mandela effect back the other direction.
No, it's two O's. It's two O's.
All right. I thought it was fruit.
Oh.
I guess they couldn't technically call it Fruit Loops, so they're like, well, we're going to make this word up because it's not really fruit. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
That's real time.
It's real.
Speak again, not another pizza article. Just happens to be. What do you know? So research, scientists are, saving the world right now. But some of them have finally come out and said that, speaking of breakfast pizza, that pizza is a better breakfast than most cereals from a nutritional standpoint.
Well, there you go. My college is saved.
Right? Yeah. So
College
because
years.
of all the sugar found in most cereals, it might have more fat, but it's less sugar. So they're saying you're better off eating like pizza for breakfast than like a bowl of Fruit Loops.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, hey, when we were growing up, we
Makes
had the 4
sense.
food groups. So pizza, you got, was it the meat, dairy, vegetables or whatever, fruit and vegetables, and bread.
There you go. All 4 of them. Do you, Lee, when you visited Campbellsville, do you remember a guy named Big Will?
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
I mean, he was just a big dude. And I'll never forget. I went to go ahead.
Was he a black guy?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll never forget. Like I went to Walmart, right, and I got the bag of the cheap Fruit Loops. You know what I'm talking about? Like you have the bag. You had the regular Fruit Loops, and you have the bag cereal.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I got a bag of Fruit Loops, and then I got a gallon of milk. And I remember like we were leaving, and we had like the PlayStation 2 or something on there, and he's like, "Hey, can I go play video games?" I was like, "Yeah, that's fine." And so we went into our dorm room, played video games, whatever. I left, and I came back. Well, Big Will got the bag cereal, right, and poured the milk into the bag cereal, and was eating it out of the bag when I came back. I was like,
smart.
one, that's genius, and 2, you owe me like $7.50. So, because that and the milk. So I was like,
a lot of cereal too.
That is a ton of cereal.
Like a 5-gallon bucket in the bag of
right. Of cereal.
Stale Fruitios or whatever.
Like, Big Will, what are you doing, man? And like you just and then he's like, "Oh, my bad. Got done with the game, sealed it up, and left with my bag." I was like, "What the heck?" He's like, "I got hungry." Well, clearly, Big Will. So I don't think I'll ever forget that. That was funny. Sorry, I digress.
Yeah, that's good, man. awesome. So, folks at the border, the Mexican border, are getting, I think, desperate with their with what's happening here. It's because nearly 200 pounds of illegal Mexican bologna was confiscated by U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Agents found 22 rolls of bologna, which is 194 pounds, in a truck in New Mexico. My question about
there's so
this
many.
whole situation is, what is illegal about bologna?
Yeah,
Right.
I was wondering the same.
Like,
It wasn't cleared through customs.
I get, I don't, yeah. Well, okay. If I
And
read, reading's hard. Mexican bologna is prohibited because it could introduce foreign animal diseases into the U.S. apparently. But,
okay, all right, I'll give you that. Now if you
all the
fry it, though.
things being smuggled across the border,
Right,
bologna,
all the things.
Cocaine, fine. Marijuana,
Yeah.
fine. Bologna, no.
I want you to bring that bologna in here.
There's a hard stop on bologna, gentlemen.
Man, yeah.
Wow, 109. What are they going to do with 194 pounds of bologna?
They destroyed it, which means they had bologna sandwiches at the precinct.
Oh, absolutely. But what were the normal people going to do with it?
I don't know.
Like just drive around like an ice cream truck and just pass out slices of bologna?
Yeah, you go to those delis that have like no, I don't want that bologna. I want the bologna from the back. You know what I mean? So
we have this bologna for $4, but we got the cheap stuff in the back for $3.
You get that 50-cent bologna.
Yeah,
from the trunk of the car.
We figured out how Aldi's is getting their bologna, gentlemen. Yeah, good gracious.
Woo.
Lidl, all those new Lidl commercials. All right, anything else?
I got one more. Let me do one more.
All right, let's do one more.
This one jumped out. I just had to bring this up. I wish we had got to talk about this last week when we had the how country are you?
Oh yeah.
Poll. Are you country enough to be driving down the road and see a 300-pound, 16-foot Burmese python and go, "Oh, mama, pull over! I want to go wrangle that thing"? Because in Florida, surprise, that's exactly
Florida man?
what happened. Florida teenager, really, driving down the road, spotted something on his family's property that required a second look.
Mm-hmm.
Quote, "I drove past it and said, 'That's a big snake.' So I had my mother with me and she said, 'Well, get out and get it.' I said, 'You get out and get it.'"
I love the play-by-play.
You can't help me. You were caught. So big snake. It was a 16-foot Burmese python. There's a picture on the website. I'll put these in the show notes of 3 dudes lined up laying next to it. They killed it. It's like three people standing on their heads, basically.
Wow.
The size of this snake.
Yo, I hate Satan's little hand puppet, man. I cannot stand those things.
Oh, there's some more dialogue here. He says, "I told him, man, watch that thing. I'm on my way." Whoever he called, "We're going to catch that thing," said his cousin.
Sure he did.
We were trying to pull him back, and he got on us. So what? They didn't give up. So after hooking, they ended up shooting it. But they were pulling it out of like some woods or something. Or can you imagine?
He got on us.
So how country are you? That's my question.
out of a score of 40, they scored 175.
They win. You win,
right.
boys.
You win.
I can make me some boots out of that thing.
Absolutely.
You can make a whole suit out of this thing.
Yeah.
They listened to our poll and said, "Hold my beer." Yeah, good gracious. That's fantastic. Well, thank you, sir, for that.
Yeah, so if you have any news, if you want, hard-hitting news like this, please send it my way. Headlines at sfpradio.com. We'll try and get on the show.
That'd be great. All right, so let's go to our interview, our special guest for the week, Lee Short.
And now, our feature presentation.
All right, Mr. Lee Short, welcome to the show. How are you tonight, my friend?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on. I've been looking forward to this.
You've begged me for like a year and a half, so
I didn't beg you.
you know, you
I just
promised me.
said, hey, I want to be on your show. I just dropped it in a few times.
Yeah, a few times. So tell our listeners a little bit of how we know each other.
So Biggin went to Campbellsville University, where my sister also attended. And I was probably 15, and we had a fall break at the private school I went to. And I went and spent like a week in Campbellsville and just bounced around the dorms, staying with different people. Like I stayed with my now brother-in-law, Tim, and stayed with JP. So like just started bouncing around and, ended up becoming pretty good friends with JP. And we talked, and it was a time where my dad had left just a few years before. My mom was very sick. So I really think JT and a couple other guys picked up on just, I was kind of a hurting kid, to be honest with you. And they just, even though I was, I don't know how much younger I am than you, but they just took me in. And so I ended up coming back. I vividly remember this. I ended up coming back one weekend and just stayed with I didn't even see my sister the whole weekend. Like I stayed with JT the whole weekend. You're staying at maybe your grandma's house.
Yeah.
Right. And it was the All-Star weekend, and it was when Vince Carter went crazy on the dunk contest.
Yeah.
I just vividly remember us eating pizza, watching that dunk contest. I don't, one of those weird memories that just sticks with you. So yeah, so then, that's how I met JT. We became, he was a good friend and just helped me through that time, really. And then we lost contact, and a couple of years ago, found you on Facebook, and we started talking again, and I started listening to the show, and just kind of picked up our friendship from there. So
yeah, absolutely. And my question is, does Tim still go by Korean? Are we still allowed to call him Korean?
I don't know. I don't know.
That was our nickname for him. So,
and I got a funny story. My grandpa was kind of racist, and I don't know if I'm allowed to tell this story about what he used to call Tim. Am I allowed?
Probably not. We'll do that after the show.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you guys after it's over, because it was hilarious. It's pretty hilarious. But no, I don't call Tim Korean anymore.
Yeah. It's probably smart.
Yeah, it's probably for the best.
So what happened? What transpired between us kind of losing contact and kind of you growing up?
So I grew up a preacher's kid, and I really fit that typical. I really do fit that typical preacher's kid mantra. Like, I wasn't a good kid. And so I ended up getting kicked out of private school, Christian school. So my last 3 sophomore through graduation of high school, I went to public school. Through that, I really, in my heart, got out of church. Like, I was just done. Yeah. So when I graduated high school, I went to Eastern Kentucky University, was a criminal justice major. But the biggest thing in that was, in my mind, I was free. Like, this is my city. Nobody knows me. I can be whoever I want to be. And I remember the first thing I did was, which it's hard to see, first thing I did was I got my eyebrow pierced, and then I'm getting my cartilage pierced, and like just kind of went crazy. And so when I got to college, I immediately joined a fraternity. And I started drinking, and my mindset was this: I'll drink, I smoke cigarettes. I said, I'll smoke weed. That's it. I'm not doing anything else. 4 years later, I'm no longer in school because I flunked out because I was too busy partying and having fun. And I'll only do these 3 things turned into if you put it in front of me, I'll do it. Like my rule went from I'll just do these 3 to I won't stick a needle in my arm. Like that was my only rule. And you threw it in front of me, I did it. And so my last year there, I was, and I'm open about this now. I wasn't for a long time, but now I'm at that point where I use it with talking with kids, with youth and teens, and trying to help them. And I don't glorify my past, but I tell the truth about my past, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, by the end, I was a full blown cocaine addict. We, almost every weekend was doing ecstasy. I smoked weed like people smoke cigarettes. Like that's how I functioned. And literally, like I said, I just, if you put a drug in front of me, I did it. And I don't know, last 2 years, I don't know a day that I didn't do something. Like there was no sober days for over 2 years. In that, I OD'd once, got pulled over with my dealer, and we had $40,000 worth of product in the car.
It wasn't baloney, was it?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Okay. We would have gotten arrested if it was baloney. They let us go. They let us go with the $40,000 worth of ecstasy in the car. They said, "You're good," but if we had baloney, we got arrested. But so my life just was a wreck, and so it was bad, and I was done. Like I was done with life. I was just in my mind, I'm 22 at the time, and I ruined my life. That's where I thought I was. Wow. And I was ready to give up. And so I moved back home, and my father, or my stepdad, said, "You can live in our house, but the only rule is you got to go to church." Wow. And I was like, "Well, you know what? I ain't got no money." So, that's, if church is rent, I'll go to church. I went to church, and through that, God really got a hold of my heart. And sorry, my daughter.
That's fine, man.
And some people think I'm crazy when I say this, but I mean, I lived it. I don't know what else to say. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
That I was at a service, and I just got so convicted. Like I used to have to get high to go to church because I couldn't stand being there. Like it was so hard for me to just be there. And I got just convicted, and I went to leave. And as I went to the door, it was just as God said, "You walk out that door, I'm done. You said no over and over, I'm done." And I've never been more scared in my life, just to be honest with you. And I turned around and went and talked to my pastor, and got things right, if you will. And then from that, I ended up, I've worked at a children's home for troubled youth for 3 years. I've pastored for 2 years, and now I'm in full-time evangelism. And a lot of what I do is talking to youth, and trying to help them understand consequences of our decision. And so that's where I'm at now. And so,
wow, that's it, huh? Well, like, was there like difficulty getting off of that stuff then at that point, or I mean, it was a struggle then, or not really?
So it's crazy because I literally went out and partied that Saturday night before. And, and I was smoking cigarettes, probably a pack and a half a day. And I really just quit everything cold turkey.
Wow.
And it was a struggle, but like, I thank God for this. I never went through withdrawals.
Huh.
I never went through major pains and stresses with it. Now I'll be honest with you, like there's things that still trigger stuff in my mind, and I would tell you, I'm just be completely honest.
Sure.
If someone put lines of Coke in front of me right now, I would shake. because it's just, I'm not tempted to say, okay, I'm not tempted to go out and buy it.
Right.
Like if I knew I could pick up, if I knew someone, I could pick up the phone, call it, go get it. There's no temptation there. Like but if it was in front of me, like that because that was my drug of choice. So there's still mental things like that are triggers. And even like drink with the drinking and stuff, I can walk by a grocery store and I'll see a case of Blue Moon with a packet with oranges on top, and I can taste it, and I'm like, man, that sounds pretty good, right? So there's stuff like that. And I'm just going to sound weird because most people hate the smell, but every now and then I'll get a smell of someone from smoking a cigarette. I'll get the smell of the smoke.
Yeah.
And I get that kind of sensation back where it's like, because there's, I tell people, like, out of all the things, cigarettes were the biggest because they helped with stress. That people don't realize that the hold that stuff has on you mentally and physically. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, so when I was stressed, I'd smoke a cigarette. When I was depressed, just the cigarette was kind of a go-to for everything. Yeah. So I smell it now, and I can I feel it. I can. So it's not a big temptation, but there are triggers.
Sure.
Addiction is real.
Yeah,
it doesn't go away. You never get off of it. Like, it doesn't go away. It's always there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I get those same shakes when I see a box of Krispy Kreme donuts hot and ready.
Talking about the cigarette thing, I had a friend who he kept smoking. He was getting off drugs, and that was how he kind of coped with getting off of everything else. Was the cigarette. Like, the cigarettes just helped him deal with the rest of the stress of getting as clean as possible,
Right. Yeah, and that makes sense.
So tell us, so you mentioned, like, God got a hold of you, and then how did that transition go from that to you preaching and being a pastor?
Well, so my pastor at the time, we talked, there was a man in the church who ran a boys' home as a home for troubled youth. I know it's kind of a touchy issue right now. If you saw a Dateline a couple of weeks ago, because there's focused on a girls' home, but it was a good ran school, properly ran school. And my pastor said, you need to get as close to that guy as possible. His life has been helping troubled guys, troubled boys. So I ended up in getting close with Brother Vanderkoy, ended up working at the school. So I ended up moving to the school, and I was there. I worked 24 hours a day, 6 days a week. I got 24 hours off a week.
Wow.
And I tell people, like, that was my rehab. Like, I was so busy working with the boys in school, working with them, playing games with them. I was with them from the time they woke up to the time they went to bed. So I was so focused on helping and working with the boys, I didn't have time to think about my issues, if you will. And then me and Brother Vanderkoy had time where me and him would just talk, and I could be open with him. And he was the first person I was ever completely honest with my past. I've done this, I've done that,
Yeah.
So though I was working with the boys and I was helping the boys, they were all helping me. Like, that was my. Sure. So in that, I started preaching chapel, and then started preaching at church a little bit. But mainly, for those 3 years, so I met my wife at the school, which is a whole different story. She came to visit a kid that was from her church. So I met my wife at the school, and so we met in April. We emailed for a year, from April to December. She got in a bad relationship. She said, I'm not going to talk to any boys on the phone or date anybody. So she made me email her. So nice. one email a week from June to December.
Good gravy.
But by October, I was like, I'm going to marry this girl. I know I am.
So were these long emails, or was it like, "Hey, girl"?
No,
What up?
Here's the thing. I would never suggest anybody do this because it was torture.
Sure.
But whenever you talk to someone on the phone, it's a lot of nonsense, right? It's a lot of just filler. And whenever you're emailing, you get to the point of stuff. Like it's very, very focused on whatever we're talking about. There's not just filler junk in it. They were long emails where we talked about stuff that was going on in our lives. We got to the point where we became each other's kind of prayer partner with, hey, I'm struggling with this. And so they were pretty detailed. But in that, we got to know each other because it wasn't just, well, what did you do today? I went, it was. So we got to
Dude, I'd be
know
too
each other.
lazy for that. I'd be way too lazy for that. I'd be the guy to be like, I'd respond with yes.
What this reminds me of is, you hear about these letters of like inmates getting out of jail and they've had this pen pal.
Yeah.
And they're like, they've been writing back and forth that they've gotten so connected.
Yeah.
That's what this guy
So I was Valerie's inmate. And so,
there you go. Yeah.
So January 1st, we talked on the phone for the first time. She came and visited the boy again in December, but she really came for me and her. So
yeah,
we went on our first date that week. She came in, so she was there for 3 days. All 3 nights we went out.
Not a boy.
And then January we started dating. February we were engaged. July we got married.
Holy cow!
So we went from emails to 6 months we were married. So
there you go.
So then I moved to Missouri, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to make this quick, but
we
moved to Missouri, and I didn't know why. I'm like, I had a ministry I was involved in, but I knew this is what God wanted. We prayed about, like, we were looking for apartments in Owensboro in Kentucky, and we'd find the perfect apartment, and it would fall through, and it happened like 5 times. And I was like, why can't we find? And then through that, we just got, we want you to move to Missouri. So I moved to Missouri. Didn't know why. I was there for about 6 months, and God just opened the door. So I trained under my pastor in Missouri. And so I spent 4 years under him in the ministry. And we had classes on Thursdays and Wednesday mornings and Thursdays. We'd have classes like Bible college style classes. I actually picked up a book a while ago where I had some of my notes. And so, like, I'm talking about major Bible college type stuff. And I became the children's minister at the church there. And then through that, God moved us back to Kentucky, where I started pastoring a church there. And so I was there for only 2 years, and that's a different story. But it was a church that wasn't started right, and it was, when you tried to take a church that was very shallow. I'm not trying to be mean, but that was very shallow, and you try to steer them back to the Bible. There's a lot of it's uncomfortable, if you will. Sure. And so there's a lot of pushback on that. So through that, I had some health issues, and I took some time and got my health under control, and then God moved us into evangelism. So we've been full-time evangelism since 2018. So
wow. How has COVID impacted evangelism for you?
I lost almost every meeting last year. Wow. So what I ended up doing was a couple local churches where I'm good friends with the pastors. I preached for them a couple of times. Here's actually pretty cool. So they were doing outdoor service because we couldn't meet inside. So they're doing outdoor service. So one of my best friends in the ministry, Matthew Thrower, he said, I want to have an outdoor revival. So we set up cars all parked in the they didn't have a parking lot. Theirs is just a street, and they had cars parked all over the street. And we had a 2-week-long revival. It's supposed to be 3 days, ended up being 2 weeks long.
Wow.
The entire block was full. The mayor ended up coming and said, I heard you're doing a street revival. And Pastor Thrower was like, he goes, yeah, I am. And he was ready to kind of be defensive, like, you're not shutting us down,
Yeah.
He goes, I want to help you out. He goes, I've got the city maintenance coming by, and they're going to block off the roads for you. So once everybody parked, we blocked off the road so no one could drive through. So it was really neat. So that was a unique experience, and we saw really fruit from that. We, saw people get saved, and just it was an amazing revival. Then there's a church that lost their pastor about an hour from where I lived, and so I ended up for a little over 6 months just going to that church and helping them while they didn't have a pastor. So I lost all my meetings, but then God filled it with stuff that I think was a bigger help than just going.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And so,
absolutely.
So this year's been slow so far, but I'll be honest, I haven't really tried to fill a calendar this year, just different reasons. But
And if anybody has any questions in the chat, Magic Man, just kind of, if anybody has anything, you can let us know.
Yep, will do.
And I'm an open book. I really am. You guys can ask anything. So about my past, I'm an open book. So
boxers or briefs? Whoa,
boxers.
Yeah, I don't like the briefs. So, and maybe help explain a little bit the difference between being a pastor and being evangelist for people who may not know.
Okay, so a pastor is someone who, is Christ is the head of the church, but the pastor is the under shepherd and just is the leader of the church. I hate using the word leader because you never see leader in the Bible. Never see leader in the Bible. Moses was a servant. Joshua was a servant. But for lack of a better term right now, I'm going to use leader. So the pastor is the leader of the church. Helps guide the church and the way the pastor feels. A lot of counseling, a lot of discipling. An evangelist, biblically, what I believe the evangelist's job is to do is to edify the church, encourage the pastor in the church, and evangelize the lost. And so that's my goal. Whenever I go anywhere, I get scheduled to come to churches for a Sunday, a revival, multiple days. I don't like calling them revivals. I like calling them meetings. You can't schedule a revival. Revivals just happen. Mm-hmm. So a multiple day meeting. And when I go in, my goal is for the pastor to be refreshed and encouraged, because the pastors need it, because they don't get preached to very often. But I want to come in and I want to serve the pastor. What can I do for you? How can I help you? What's going on? And amazing, you just get pastors that just unload on you, just all this stuff that they can't say to other people. And I just listen, and then I go in and I hate, there's evangelists who have ruined evangelism because they've gone in mean, nasty, and they'll blow a church up. Tell them how awful they are, how full of sin they are, just and they just destroy a church. They leave, and now the pastor has to pick up the pieces. I know churches who have had church splits over evangelists coming in and hurting the church. That's not what the Bible tells us to do. My goal is to come in and to edify and to encourage. And so when I leave, I want the church to feel closer to the Lord, feel more encouraged, more edified, just ready to go, refreshed. So yeah, I mean, that's my opinion. There's the difference in what the two should do. So,
gentlemen, do you guys have any questions?
Is that a stack of Bibles behind you?
It is a stack of Bibles behind me.
It's pretty high. Is there a
table there, that's probably not even a quarter of the Bibles I have.
Wow.
Oh, have you read them all?
No.
Does the ending change on any of them?
Do I?
Does the ending change on any of them?
No, not yet.
Yeah, that's good. But there's something special about those Bibles, right? Like,
yeah. So I collect Bibles. That's my I love Bibles, and so I like different kinds. And so my wife doesn't like it because she's like, you can just go buy a $20 Bible. And I'm like, I could, or I could buy this Bible. And she's like, that one's $200. I'm like, I'm just saying. And so my wife doesn't like it whenever I buy Bibles. And so I actually just got I just ordered 2 that came in the mail. She's like, you already have this Bible. Why did you buy 2 more of the same Bible? But it's my favorite preaching Bible, and it's usually $130, and they're selling it for $30.
Oh wow!
So I'm like,
All right,
yeah. So I'm like, I'm gonna jump on that one. But yeah. So these are. So this is a Cambridge Bible, but I had I know on the podcast I won't be able to see this, but these guys will. So this is ostrich leather.
Oh, okay.
So
okay, I was wondering where the bumps were. Okay.
Yeah, it's ostrich leather. It's where they pluck the feathers out. I didn't like the binding. I didn't like the leather on the Cambridge I bought. It was too stiff. And so a buddy of mine does rebinds, and so he goes, "I have some ostrich leather. You want it?" I said, "Absolutely." So this one, and I got another one to send it to him that he's doing in Kentucky blue.
Nice.
And it's kangaroo leather.
Oh wow!
And so these are
the one with the bump. You can shake really good, and you don't lose your grip.
Yeah. So yeah. So I'm picky about my Bibles. That's why, so this is the one that I reordered. This is my favorite preaching Bible. But a lot of times I walk around, I don't stand. I walk around, and so I'll hold my place. So I gotta have a soft, really pliable Bible that I can bend and move. And these are my prized possessions. These 2 are the Schuyler Bibles. This is the $220 Bible. This one's I think $180, which is not about the money. I'm just saying they really are made different. Like people think it's just a Bible, but they're made different. And I love to collect them. I like collecting premium Bibles. I have a Bible now that it was a 400th anniversary edition of the King James Bible, goat skin leather. I bought it. I think it was $80 or something. It sells now for between $400 to $600.
Holy cow!
Because it was a special edition. It was a rare one. And so I'm like,
so Bibles are like baseball cards.
I was thinking
they are.
Babies, but yeah.
So I don't preach out of these, like the Schuyler Bibles. I don't preach out of them. I read them, but I'm scared, man. I'm scared when I open them because I'm like, I don't want to mess up the guild or anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, yeah, so I'm a Bible collector. It's just kind of my hobby. And so,
did you guys know that was a thing? I had no idea. I was just like, I'm just going to go to Walmart and pick up the Bible.
Yeah, I just take the one out of the drawer in the hotel. I mean,
no,
I took the one out of the back of the pew.
and there's a lot. I mean, there's a big group of people that just like premium Bibles that buy. So you have the Schuyler, you have the Allens, which is one I want to get next, and then the Cambridge. Those are the 3 biggest as far as the premiums. And
what makes them premium though?
So the leather. So
I'll give you leather. Okay.
So this one. This is the 220 one. This is the Schuyler. It's the leather. It's a goatskin leather. This thing's not going to fall apart. It's going to stay sturdy.
Okay.
It's got the paper they use, and I can't think of what the paper is right now off the top of my head, but they use. I don't even know how to explain it. The paper just feels. It's so soft. It's just. It's just a soft paper, and then they're printing. I don't know if y'all can see that.
Yeah, it's fancy.
So, and it's not just they do a pretty beginning and stuff. It's the font and the darkness. So I can step away from the pulpit and still see the letters real well.
Oh wow.
So so it comes down to leather, to the type of paper they use, type of font and print that they use. There's no smudges or anything. Yeah, so it's
I have a holographic cover Bible. I bet you think that's worth. It has a message. It's like you'll be under. It's like you can't even stare at it straight because it gives you a headache.
I don't know what that one would be worth. I'm not sure on that one.
I don't even know.
It's upstairs. I wish I had it close by.
I've got a few,
like,
but they're
you get those like plastic things. You turn in the light and they kind of change. It just has like a pattern on it. I bought it. I don't know. I was 20 something. I was like, oh, this is a different Bible.
Fun.
It's basically a plastic cover. So
yeah. So you said that at this point things have gotten a little bit slow for you. So what have you been doing in your spare time?
So I like to cook. And so I started working in a barbecue restaurant in Owensboro when I was 16 years old.
Which one? Was it Moonlight?
Moonlight.
God,
so I'm an Old Hickory fan. I actually like Old Hickory better than Moonlight.
Okay.
But I mean, and Owensboro people, we could argue over that all day.
I love me some Moonlight.
But Moonlight has better sides. Old Hickory has better meat. So anyways, when I started working there, I really got interested in barbecue and smoking meat and barbecue. And so I didn't work in the pits, but I'd always end up in the pits kind of helping just because I wanted to learn. And so they made a mistake. They hired like three of me and two of my best friends, and they trained us three in all the kitchen stuff instead of training. So what they did, they got to the point where they couldn't afford to fire any of us because like to fire one of us, they'd have to hire two or three to replace us because we did so many things.
Gotcha.
But once we knew that we were pretty much unfireable, we weren't good employees. And so I was like, I'm not cooking today. I'm going to go to the pit. So I just go to the pit, just hang out in the pit. And I started learning how to smoke and stuff. So then when I got older, I bought my own smoker and started playing around. And then from that, it's just built up to where I do catering. And then this year we're entering barbecue competitions. And so it's just something that now, goodness, I'm 36. So I've been doing this for 20 years now. And so that's been my hobby. I mean, that's what I do right now. Just, I probably fire up the smoker 3 times a week. And so
you got a brand new smoker too.
I do have a brand new smoker. And so it just got here last week. It's the one where we're building a trailer. And so it'll be mounted up on our trailer. And the trailer has a roof on it. And then we have fold up tables so we can just do all of our work right on the trailer as far as for the competitions and stuff. And so the new smoker holds 24, 25 Boston butts at one time. It's a pretty big guy. So I'm excited. I haven't fired it up yet. Kind of car wreck kind of interrupts things, but I'm looking forward to firing it up. And our first competition is the 26th, so of this month. So
wow.
Yeah, so our first competition's coming up. So.
Wow.
Now, I know, Producer Brian, you probably have a ton of questions about the smoking.
I might have a question or two that just popped into my head. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Fire
Let's go. I love it. Let's go.
We're going to start a new episode right now. Is it Boston butt? Is that kind of where you stay, or you ribs, brisket?
No. So I do everything. So for the competitions, we have to do 4 meats. So you do a pulled pork or Boston butt. You do chicken thigh
here.
Do what?
It's just called barbecue here.
Yeah, right. And so we got to do the Boston butt. You got to do chicken. I got to do some kind of chicken. You got to do ribs, and you got to do brisket. For my catering, I offer all those, and also seriously, no jokes with what our conversation is earlier. But in our catering, we do those 4, but we also do smoked bologna. And so, I may need to check into this Mexican bologna. It might be a winner. And so, so that's our main meats that we do for our catering. And then with the competition, we do those four meats. So.
Okay. So, I mean, Do you pull from any like regions with your styles, or is it all what you learned?
So yeah, like I for my I do rubs on everything. And I'm actually sponsored by Liberty Spice Company, and so I exclusively use their spices and rubs on my stuff. LibertySpice.com. I don't think that's right, but
Ching.
I'll give you guys. I have a promo code. You get 50% off your first order. But
Wait, for real?
Yeah. And so
Okay.
I'll figure it out, and I'll send it to you, and you guys can put it up on the website or something. I should have had it here with me. I apologize, I didn't. But then my sauce wise, I really pull from Owensboro, from Western Kentucky, and so it's a more vinegar based, a thinner sauce. It's not very thick, and so I'm a Kentucky guy in that with my sauces, and so. But competition's different, though. Competition, they want sweet. So for competition, I do what I cook for catering and what I cook for competition is completely different.
Yeah,
and
so
so
all your judges are coming from like Texas or Kansas City style, so they want those thick, sweet sauces, right?
Yep, they want it. They want a good glaze on it. They want it sweet. They want a little bit of spice to it. And so, like my ribs, they get covered, they get wrapped halfway through, and they get brown sugar, honey, butter, hot sauce, more barbecue sauce and rub put on it, and then they get wrapped and just baked in that. And so it comes out almost candied and glazed from that brown sugar and butter and stuff. It's good, but it's extremely sweet. Like that's what for a one bite competition. That's what they want. So,
right. Yeah.
So,
it's
awesome. Magic Man, any questions in the chat?
Nathan Johnson says his. Oh, I'm gonna butcher that name. What's that? Schiller is what you called it. The Bible.
Skylar.
Yeah, it's close. He says Skylar is his favorite in his collection.
Yeah, I love the Skylar's my number one. I have a pastor friend who's just as bad as me with collecting Bibles, and he was trying to figure out what he wanted to buy, and he said, "You're on the desert island. You can only have one Bible with you. Which one is it?" Hands down, the Skylar. Like, it's going to last forever. It's durable. It's nice. It's clean. It's
Which
like
one floats? That's the one I want.
Yeah, right. Like, all right, Jonah, help me.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say, when you were talking about the burgers earlier, we don't do burgers per se, but we do have a couple of signature sandwiches. So I want your guys' opinion on our signature sandwiches.
Okay. All right. I like it.
All right. So we got the Shorty. Our competition and our catering company is called Shorty's Barbecue. So the Shorty is pulled pork.
Like it.
Sweet pickles and sweet jalapenos.
Okay.
Baked beans.
Okay.
So that's the short. Onions are optional. I don't like onions, but onions are optional on it.
Are the baked beans sweet, or are they more like
they're sweet? They're sweet baked beans with a little bit of spice.
Sorry, I need a moment here with producer Brian. This is completely separate. Would you? I'm getting a text now from somebody that is on the bourbon hunt. Would you pay $90 for a Stag Junior?
Jeez.
Like, I paid $60 retail. That's too much, right?
I mean, that's real. How bad do you want it? I don't know. That
really.
seems a little. I like Stag Junior, but I don't like to go more than 10 or 15 over retail on anything.
All right. Okay. All right. Back to
personal. Sorry.
I'll respond back. Thank you.
Hey, baked beans on a barbecue sandwich sounds pretty good, actually.
It depends. Like, for me, like, what's the baked bean like? Is it going to be like a thin baked bean where it's just going to fall over everywhere, or is it like a little bit thicker?
It's a medium. Like, it's not super thick, but it's not runny either. It's a meat. You're gonna have some dribble off the side.
Make a mess, right? All right.
Yeah, it's gonna be messy, but it's not gonna. All of it's not gonna run off, and you're gonna have baked beans all on your plate and nothing on the sandwich. Like it's not that thin, so it'll
Gotcha.
stick in there. It'll stay in the sandwich.
I tried.
Okay. Yeah, I try it.
So then the Monarch is fried bologna, your choice of meat, pulled pork, chicken, chopped brisket, pickle onions, coleslaw.
So bologna and another smoked meat. Wow.
So smoked bologna, but then we slice it, thick cut, about quarter of an inch, half an inch, and then we fry it on the griddle.
Okay.
So you get a fried smoked bologna with usually pulled pork, and then
I was thinking brisket would go.
And then but whichever one you want. I'm just saying what we typically just and then onion pickle coleslaw.
Magic Man, what are your thoughts?
Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. I don't know. The first one I heard pork and beans.
I don't have that soundbite.
They sound good, but I don't know which one. Probably the second one because I like to try some of that brisket, or the chicken. That sounds good.
So I need to know about your coleslaw before I make too much of an opinion here.
So I'll be honest with you, I'm not a coleslaw fan. So my coleslaw I get from somebody else.
Oh,
I'm just being honest with you. I won't cook something I don't like.
Okay,
because
that's fair.
I'm not going to taste it and be like, oh, this is good, because it doesn't matter. It could be the best coleslaw in the world, and I'm going to say
I can appreciate that.
So,
coleslaw,
so with the potato salad and the coleslaw, I have someone else that does a good job on it. So I can't tell you what it tastes like because I don't like it. So
someone doesn't like mayonnaise. That's what
I like pulled pork and coleslaw. I like that combo.
Yeah. So one of the things we're gonna do, because we're gonna have a food truck, is you're gonna have the option of what we call a stack 'em. So essentially, you get I'm going to order a pulled pork sandwich with my 2 sides, but I can choose to stack my sides. In other words, stack it on the sandwich, but then I can order extra meat or, a surcharge, and I can stack that meat on the sandwich. So ideally, if you wanted to, you could sit there and stack every meat we have on a sandwich. And so, and then all sides, you can choose to stack the sides, which is weird. I mean, I don't want to stack green beans on the sandwich, but if somebody wanted to, I guess I'd do it. But you can stack the baked beans, coleslaw, and so that's one of our options. We have signature sandwiches because that's what me and the other owner, that's our favorite. That's our sandwiches. Like that's how I eat my sandwiches. I put my baked beans on my sandwiches. I'm weird. And then my other owner, that he made the Monarch. But then we have the stack 'em option where you can make whatever sandwich you want, stack whatever you want. I mean, I'll just be honest with you. If you want to pay for it, I'll do whatever you want with the meat.
Careful, this is a family show. All right, so let's do this. I think this would be fun. So give us your meats again. You say ribs.
Yeah, ribs.
Pulled pork.
Pulled pork. So the chicken, you can have a chicken quarter or pulled chicken.
Okay, pulled chicken, and then
brisket.
And
then smoked bologna.
Okay, and then what are your sides?
Green beans, country style green beans. So they're cooked with bacon in it, and then almost all our sides get put in the smoker as well. And so country style green beans, baked beans, corn on the cob, potato salad, coleslaw.
All right, gentlemen. So make your sandwich.
Oh gosh.
All right, we got your meats.
You wrote it down, and Brian and I didn't.
I did, yeah.
Well, I'm going back over it.
All right.
Ribs, pulled, and you can get the rib, like all the meat off the ribs, and then put that on the sandwich. ribs, pulled pork, chicken, brisket, and bologna. And then your sides, we're gonna do a stack them. So you have to put these on your sandwich. Green beans, which we're pretty much gonna throw that out, right? Baked beans, corn, potato salad, and coleslaw. Is anybody putting potato salad on their?
Thinking about it.
Ooh,
No.
About it.
if you did like a ranch potato salad, I may consider it. But all right,
It depends
that's gonna
on
be
like is it like chicken like barbecue have like barbecue sauce on it? It's like a barbecue chicken or it's like a pulled chicken.
No, I don't put sauce on anything,
Okay.
and so it's I brine my chicken.
So it's all like dry rub basically, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I brine my chicken, then I pull it, I let it set out for an hour, and then I put my rub on it, and then throw it in the smoker, and then I don't do anything to it after that. Now, when I pull the chicken, I take the chicken, put it in pans, and let it set for about 30 minutes, and the juices pull there's juices that just come out of the chicken, and then when you pull it, more juices.
Yeah.
So the juices become the sauce, if that makes sense.
Well, with the potato salad, if it was like a sauced chicken, I would go that way just because of the little bit of sweet maybe with the potato salad. But
Yeah.
I'll have to throw that out.
all right. So
was mac and cheese on there? I don't remember if I heard.
No.
Because a fried bologna and mac and cheese sandwich would be pretty good.
Yeah, it does sound pretty good.
Smoked bologna and mac and cheese sandwich.
all right, corn. Are we doing anything with corn?
I'd want to just do a meat sandwich. Like
I need a little
Bris-
sauce in
all-
the
brisket.
Do all the
coleslaw,
meats.
Yeah. Well, what I do is brisket, pulled pork, and chicken.
Brisket,
wow.
pulled pork, and chicken.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd pass.
See,
on
I
the
think
chicken.
you need
With
something
scrambled
like
eggs.
that. I think you need like a coleslaw or a baked beans on it, because you need just a little bit of a
Moisture.
sauce with it, like a
Yeah.
little
Can
bit
I
of a
get,
juice.
if I had like collard greens, I could put on like a brisket and pulled pork sandwich.
Yeah, collard.
Sorry. I'm making a new menu for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I love collard greens, but Missouri's not a
Yeah, I understand.
Missouri's not a collard green
You're not going to
place.
sell those out there.
No.
All right, I'm
Kale.
doing a brisket and rib sandwich with barbecue sauce and slaw on top.
Sounds good.
Brisket and ribs.
I want to say this. I know you said you don't like sweet pickles a while ago.
Yeah.
There's a little company, little business in Springfield, Missouri, which is about an hour from us, that they make a thing called float trip pickles.
Okay.
People are weird here in Missouri. I would always say I'm going to go canoeing. Like, I'm going to go.
I know what that is.
They say I'm going to go on a float trip. And so the person, and I'm like, so I hear all these people when I lived here before, like, we're going on a float trip this week. We're going on a float trip. I'm like, what? Like, are you going to get on inner tubes? Like, I didn't, they're talking about, getting on a canoe and going down the river. So I have this thing called float trip pickles, and it's pickles and jalapenos.
Great.
And it's a sweet and a spice.
Okay.
So the pickles have the spice to it from the jalapenos. The jalapenos have the spice but have the sweetness from the pickle brine. They're amazing. So that's the main pickle option that we're gonna have regular pickle for wimps.
I'll add that to my
In my
sandwich.
defense, my experience with sweet pickles, mostly, maybe I don't know if I've ever had a good one, is the Mount Olive bread and butter.
Yeah.
Like the green jar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can eat those all day.
Someone buys those by accident, or the little skinny, like the little mini deals.
Yeah, I like them, and I can eat those, but it's nothing like a good homemade.
If there's a craft
pickle.
sweet pickle,
yeah,
grandma makes it. Hey, buddy.
Yeah. If it's the side, it's not you're just making me eat a pile of them. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw that out there when you're making your sandwich. That these are
all right.
not
Do
just
some
regular
Brian.
pickles.
Yeah,
the smoker man.
Jalapeno pickle thing would go well. It's the right play in the combination with all that smoky meat to cut some of that salt.
All right, give me your sandwich.
Oh man. Okay.
All right.
Is there fried onions around here?
Well, we have no fried foods because I'm not dealing with a fryer. Hey, I want to say this real quick while you're thinking about it. I'm going to be in Charlotte for a barbecue contest in September.
Yep.
Okay.
So
Hops and hogs.
I'm write these sandwiches down because I'm making these sandwiches for you guys when I'm there.
Oh man, that's
I gotta
that's awesome.
eat it.
Yeah.
Do you have scrambled eggs? That's the real question.
That's a new take on eating your words.
Oh.
All right.
So think about it because you're going to eat these sandwiches.
I'm gonna make it worth it.
And,
All right.
And so
yeah. So while you're thinking about that, again, if you're in Charlotte area, Hops and Hogs, it's September 6th, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
So we'll have information on our show notes.
I went a couple years ago. It's a good time.
We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna actually do a live show, barring COVID and whatnot. We're gonna do a live show there at the competition, so that'll be fun.
Okay.
You're gonna try to set up with us, right?
Yep.
Yep. That'll be awesome.
What's the bread?
So while you're doing your live show, I will give you guys your sandwiches.
Do it.
All right. We'll eat it on. Yeah.
What's the bread situation? Is like Texas
that is a good
toast
question.
Bun.
All right, so when you order just the meat, like I just want a quarter pound of pulled pork, you get a slice of white bread.
Okay, classic.
And sandwich is just your basic bun, your basic.
Okay,
it's a bigger. It's not that's the small hamburger buns. We do the big buns.
Okay,
and so because our sandwiches are. A lot of people do a third of a pound on their sandwiches, so they can get 4 sandwiches per pound. Or, I'm sorry, they do a quarter of a pound on their sandwiches, so they can get. I do a third of a pound. I mean, the money doesn't. It's not a big enough money issue on that extra. So I just like to give my people big portions, big sandwiches.
I like it.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, bring it.
I'm ready. Bologna.
Yep.
Brisket.
Right.
Rib.
Okay.
Coleslaw.
Okay.
Fancy pickles.
I like it.
There we go.
I like it. Did you write that down, Biggin?
All right. So
I guess we go. It's a podcast. We can go back and listen to it. Right.
we'll have to go back and listen.
You also watch it on YouTube.
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of crazy sandwiches, I don't know if we've talked about this. There's one around here at Mac's Speed Shop called the Fat Boy.
Okay.
It's a challenge technically.
Yeah.
But the sandwich it's pork, sausage, brisket, bacon, pimento cheese, queso dip, coleslaw, fried pickles, onion rings.
I want to do
sauce. I've seen it. I had a friend. It's a 5-pound piece of meat. Plus, they give you a half pound of mac and cheese that you have to eat with it.
I want to do it.
All right.
Give me a range.
I'll be there for about 4 days. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's actually a pretty good restaurant. A buddy of mine did it. He's a little guy. He ended up going outside with a bucket. But they gave him a t-shirt.
Wow.
Anyway.
Absolutely. Oh, they give you the t-shirt anyway?
Yeah. Well, he got one anyway. But yeah, I need to put a link for this thing. But there's it's a mountain, like a tower of onion rings on top of the sandwich. It's amazing.
Let's do it.
Night. All right.
So, Magic Man, what's your sandwich?
So that's the brisket, pulled pork, and chicken.
Chicken, right? Okay, that's right. I couldn't remember. I'm sorry.
All right. So we'll eat these again, barring COVID, barring anything else. So we'll be there. Hops and Hogs, September 6th here in Charlotte. And then where can people get a hold of you if they want to get the rubs or connect for an evangelist or just get to know more about the shorties?
All right. So I'm on Facebook. So you can find everything essentially on Facebook. So just Lee Short, Preston, and in Preston, Missouri, if you're trying to find out if there's more, I don't know if there's more than one Lee Short on Facebook.
I'm sure there is.
And then so Lee Short on Facebook. And then through that, I have an Evangelist Lee Short page on Facebook, and then have a Shorty's Barbecue page on Facebook. And so all my contact information is on all 3 of those. I do have a website for our evangelism, www.evleeshort.com. And so I have some of my contact information is on there. Actually, I think my old phone number is on there. So
might need to update that.
Do you ever
conversation.
cater the meeting? So you'll cook all the food, then get up and preach?
I have. So no, I have. So
That's amazing.
We've done a Baptist barbecue. We've done a Baptist barbecue day. And so what I'll do is typically I'll smoke. Typically we'll do pulled chicken because it's the cheapest meat of all of them, and Baptists are cheap. And so I am one, I can say it. And so usually I'll smoke the chicken the day before, and then if you smoke meat, put it in a vacuum sealed bag, put it in hot water. It warms it up without drying it out. Best way to do it. You open it up and it's just like fresh, brand new right out of the smoker. So yeah, so I'd smoke the meat on Saturday, preach Sunday, have a meal after the service on Sunday morning. So yeah, so that is something that I've already had a couple pastors ask me about it already to do it, get it lined up for this year. So yeah,
very cool.
Baptist preaching and food, it goes together. So
perfect. Love it.
Yeah.
Well, Lee, thank you so much for joining us on the show. We really appreciate it. We'll have all the information on our show notes. So again, thank you for that. And we look forward to Hops and Hogs. Man, that's going to be a fun time.
I'm looking forward to it, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Again, appreciate you guys tuning in to the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. One thing that I will say, whether it's Lee or we had Kevin Hoffman or Peggy Noel Stevens, if you guys listen to their episodes and you really like it, please just give them a shout out and say, hey, we heard you on the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast and we really love that. That really is cool for them to get to see that and hear that feedback. So we would appreciate you doing that. That would be great. Next week we have Brittany Pettigrew. She's my nurse practitioner.
Oh,
so she'll give us
that one.
Yeah, that'll give us probably literally the ins and outs of the medical community. So we appreciate you guys tuning in for that. And again, as always, guys, keep looking up. You're listening to the SFP Radio Network.